Hello again, everyone. So I am back doing the Andromeda Unit B2, and I have put it off. It got very frustrating for me, and I will explain why. So again, my name is Kimberly. I am the owner of So Sassy Stitcher. I have a quilting business here in Northwest Arkansas, getting this going again after having moved from Idaho about 8-9 months ago. And so I'm doing these videos just to kind of help you guys out as I go through doing this as my own block of the month. Since we moved, I don't have a quilt shop here that I have gotten into that does the Judy Niemeyer quilts. There's nobody around that is a certified shop for Judy Niemeyer, and I am not a certified instructor. Just want to make that clear. But so I'm just doing this on my own. I've done a fair number of the Judy Niemeyer quilts, and so have pretty good understanding of her instructions and her patterns. So I am finishing up unit B2. And as you can see here, I have the main part of this done. And this is how it looks with a few extra threads on there. I have not trimmed this one up yet. I have not trimmed any of them up. So my particular pattern has this alternate piece on the end. And that's the last piece that we do, and it is to connect to some of our other pieces. Now, I started doing this, got very frustrated, put it away for a little while, finally sucking it up, getting back to it, been doing some other things. It's been nice outside, been working outside on my garden, getting garden fence going, all of those things, and had just kind of put this aside for a little bit. But now I am back at it. It's kind of a nasty day, cold day, windy. So looking at it again, here's what we got going on. So when the cutting instructions came out and you cut all of these pieces, most of her pieces you oversize so that when you put them together, then you trim them down. And you can see this whole piece, you can see my fabric over this, they're oversized. However, for whatever reason, these little alternate pieces were a template and they were cut exactly to size. So what that means is we have to place them in exactly the right place for them to flip over into the correct spot and be exactly in line. So I tried this a couple of different ways to see what was going to work the best. So on this first one that I did not trim any of it up first, just tried to line it up as best I could and fold it over. Doesn't look that terrible, right? And it's really not too bad. I actually did an okay job on this. I haven't trimmed it up to see exactly where I'm at, but when I hold it up to the light, I'm a little shy, but it's not bad. But it was also very difficult, and I ended up ripping it out and trying it again to get it in the right place. So then I decided to trim up just this end, okay? So you can see this one here. Now it looks a little bit different. It's not as sloppy on the ends. I trimmed up just this angular side, the smart corner, and then a little bit down the edge. And I did that so that when I go to place my template, I have a better idea of exactly where that needs to go. So then when you do this, you're going to fold it back just like you would anything else, okay? There's longer seams that you have to pop from your paper. Make sure that you pop them from your paper, not from your fabric, so that you don't lose those seams. Your paper's gonna rip a little bit more. It's just part of the deal. It'll all work out in the end. It's fine. This one's being stubborn. Peel that back. Then I'm gonna take and trim this up. And it is scary to trim this up because you're cutting off this whole big chunk. Okay, but that's what we need to do. Now, I've done a few of these to try to get it right. I have ripped almost all of them out because they're not in quite the right position. So I'm getting that figured out. You can see this one, because I trimmed it up, then when I fold it over and iron, I can see, am I in the right spot? Okay, and this one you can see comes to the pretty much the edge of the paper. I'm within the realm of okay. So this guy shows you the placement of where it needs to go. Now you do have this spot here on this one, and that is about your 1/4 inch of where you need to go. So that should actually line up along the piece that you have trimmed off. And that gives you a general pretty close idea to where that needs to be, so that when I flip it over, I'm pretty close. It's still acting a little bit low. At the bottom here, you're gonna notice that you're gonna wanna make sure that that 1/4 inch, you're gonna show a little bit of that dark blue through here when you line it up. So when I line this piece up, I want to see a little bit of this dark blue on this corner, okay? Because where that seam is gonna come is right here, so that when I fold it over, even though it's at this kind of weird angle, when I fold this over, if that stitch is right there at that edge, it should come right to that edge like that, okay? Making sure that you're on the line or even just inside that line, a scant, kind of like doing your scant 1/4 inch. You wanna be just a scant to the inside, and that's gonna give you a little bit more wiggle room for getting that piece exactly right, okay? These are gonna take a little bit of time to do. The other thing that you can do is when you get them placed like this and you know that you've got it in the right spot, or you think you're real close to the right spot, grab your glue, dab a little bit of glue on there, then you can actually fold it over and check. With that glue stick, you can actually pick it up and reposition it. Try again before you stitch it. If you stitch it and it is wrong, it's okay. You can rip it out. Just be really careful not to rip your paper. The other thing that I have found is if I need to rip it out and put it back on, I'm actually sewing on the non-paper side. And that allows me to make sure that this template piece is lined up exactly where I need it. And I'm just doing a 1/4 inch stitch from where I have cut. And that has actually worked out pretty well. And you can double check it on the back. If you're close, I would leave it as long as it covers that space that you need it to cover, okay? These are gonna be a little bit of a challenge. It's gonna take you some iterations probably. That's okay. Like I tell my kids, it's okay to make mistakes. You just gotta clean it up and fix it, all right? And learn from it. So I'm still learning from it. Hopefully this will help you, but just make sure to keep that lined up. See if I can get another one here. And make sure that you have a little bit of that dark blue showing at the bottom about 1/4 of an inch over, so that when you do that seam, it should then line up just right. If you have a different technique that is working for you, great. My suggestion is, if you have not fully cut these template pieces yet, I would cut this sew side. I would leave everything else a little bit larger so that you have some wiggle room, and then you can adjust that, fold it over, and then trim everything up like you normally would. Normally that's how she does hers. I am not sure why these were not done that way, but if you haven't cut your pieces yet, I suggest leaving these a little bit larger so that you don't have this issue, and you can just put them on and trim them up all at the end. And that would be the easiest thing to do. And I hope for your sake that that is what happens. You haven't cut those yet down? Great, let's cut them a little bit bigger and do them. I am not sure that I have enough extra fabric to recut these guys, so I'm just dealing with it as it is. But like I said, I've put it aside for a week or two. Decided not to stress myself out over that. Work on some other projects, get outside and enjoy the nice weather, and come back to it when I'm a bit more level-headed. Once you have these guys on and you have it ironed open, then you can go ahead and trim around the rest of this on that outermost dark line, making sure that you do those smart corners, and then you can put it aside and have that ready to add into your quilt when it is time. So good luck to you on this one, and I will see you next month for the March section of my own block of the month.